You know that feeling, right? You pour your heart, your soul, everything you have into a project, only to watch it go completely nowhere. Well, today we're going to dig into why that keeps happening, and more importantly, how we can start building collaborations that actually succeed, especially when the stakes for our future feel higher than they've ever been.
Let's just start by acknowledging this feeling, because it hits so hard. It's that familiar, deep, frustrating pain. It's the absolute exhaustion that comes from partnerships that promise the world but just lead you right back to where you started. Only now you have less time and way less energy.
And this sense of wasted effort, it's like watering a plant day after day, and it just refuses to grow. But here's the thing, it's not just bad luck. As the source material we're looking at today suggests, it's a sign of something much deeper, a fundamental breakdown in integrity and intention right from the very beginning.
So if we ever want to build connections that actually last, we first have to dissect why so many of them fall apart in the first place. You got to understand the failure points before you can even dream of creating a system that actually works.
Okay, so here's the first hard truth we have to face. The system, as it is, often matches us with people who aren't really looking for a partner. They're looking for a host. They've got ulterior motives, and they're just looking to patch you, to extract value for themselves, not to create it with you.
All right, so let's put a name to these frustrating characters, because once you can spot these archetypes in the wild, you can start avoiding them, and that is the most critical first step.
First up, the selfish actor. Oh, we have all met this person. Collaboration feels incredible, as long as every single decision, every bit of momentum, is pointed squarely in their direction. The second the spotlight shifts, though, poof, the teamwork just evaporates. And this quote just nails the dynamic, doesn't it? It's a total one-way street. They demand you be a loyal soldier in their army, but they offer absolutely none of that support in return. It's not a partnership, it's a kingdom, and you're just a subject.
Then you've got the extractor. This one's defined by a complete refusal to invest any real effort. As the source puts it, they're not willing to put in any elbow grease. They only show up for the harvest, but are conveniently nowhere to be found when it's time to plant the seeds.
Now, this next one is a little different, and it isn't always about bad intentions. It's about recognizing that sometimes people are dealing with so much, maybe overwhelming financial or health problems, that their integrity becomes fragile. They become unreliable because their capacity to follow through just isn't there.
And of course, the guild leech. This is the classic freeloader. They get into a high-performing group, enjoy the reputation, soak up the rewards, but they're not contributing at that same level. They become dead weight, and eventually they start to drag everyone else down with them.
What's really interesting here is that this all points to a massive systemic failure. Our current methods for vetting people, peer reviews and references, they're just not working. It's way too easy for these little cliques to form and just rig the system, protecting their own and making it impossible to get a true read on anyone.
Okay, now we need to zoom way out, because this whole problem of wasted trust, it's about to become so much bigger than just a few failed projects. The consequences are escalating, and the stakes are getting raised from just bad deals to actual survival. So we really have to ask ourselves, are the consequences of all this broken trust really limited to our careers? Is the worst that can happen just some wasted time and money?
Because the source material we're looking at argues that something far more critical is at stake. The rules of the entire game are changing, and frankly, the game doesn't care if we're ready for it or not.
And look, this isn't just hyperbole. It's a recognition that we are approaching a massive societal tipping point, and it's being driven by technology that we might not be able to control anymore. Pandora's box has been opened.
There's this idea of an inevitable, systemic force on the horizon. A socialized machine that's coming not for individual success, but to just process everyone. The scariest part is that the window to prepare for this is closing fast. We might be down to our last few years, our last chances.
So what's our defense against this future? It's not going to be more technology. It's not going to be money. The source says that when the machines have taken over, the only thing that will matter is the strength of our trusted human networks, community resiliency.
So, how do we build these resilient networks? Well, let's explore the proposed solution, a system designed not just for better business, but for navigating the existential threat that might be coming.
This slide illustrates the fundamental shift perfectly. The old way is all about systems that can be gamed, bias reviews, cliques, rigging. The new way, the integrity engine, is all about clean, objective results. It's about measured utility and impartial feedback that can remove bad actors quickly.
And this leads to a fascinating, almost radical idea. What if the best way to solve all the untrustworthy games that humans play is to bring in a referee that isn't human at all? The source speculates that a truly fair system might actually require an AI referee. Think about it, an AI that's fed all the data, every input, every output, every meeting. It could see everything, detect dishonesty without bias, and impartially report on who's actually contributing and who's just gaming the system.
But what's really compelling here is that this system wouldn't just be about punishment. It would value humility. It suggests the most trustworthy people are the ones who, if they fall short, have the character to step back, retrain, and earn their place again. It builds in grace right alongside accountability. So let's bring it all home. What's the ultimate outcome of building an engine like this? What's the real promise here? What's the light at the end of the tunnel?
The end goal is simple, but it's incredibly profound: safety. The ability to move past the fear and the constant need to protect yourself, and instead confidently invest your precious time and energy in people and ideas that can genuinely grow.
And really, this is the essential takeaway. In a future that's going to be defined by huge systemic change and uncertainty, building a resilient, high-integrity community isn't just a good idea, it might be the most valuable asset you could possibly have.